All right. It is our species' highest joy and passion to be able to interact with you in this way, through this channel, this day. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you, Ryo. Thank you for being here.
Of course, you are so welcome. It is our joy and our passion to be able to interact with you through the channel in this manner. And how would you like to explore with one another through this dialogue and exchange this day?
Yeah, I have some questions and topics to go into, especially relating to the nature and structure of existence and the universe and our reality, if that's all right with
All
you.
right. Well, we are happy to explore the great mystery with you.
Yeah.
So, what dimensions of the great mystery pique your spiritual fascinations?
I've always wondered why our universe, at least as we understand it in a more physical dimension, it seems to be these spheres of planets orbiting spheres that are suns, which are orbiting throughout the universe and galaxies. So I wonder, what is it about these spheres and orbiting? Why does our reality manifest in that
It's
structure?
because your reality is based off of the spiral movement. That is the natural momentum and movement-based directionality of what you call the life force or the chi. So think of it like this: a bunch of sand in a void spiraling, yes? And
Yeah.
as it spirals, some of that sand clumps together and forms a sphere. Now, the sphere is a ball, and as you know, it's much easier to roll a ball than it is to roll a block, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So that spherical design is the natural consequence of the chi moving in that spiral pattern. And an object, a planetary body or a star, then forms as the result of that. And because its geometry is toroidal, which is also in a sense spherical, enables that movement to continue in a greater way. It allows for that original pattern that the subtle chi has set to now continue through the next level of consciousness for that original chi, which is the planetary or the stellar body. And now the planet is able to rotate in a, you could say, more powerful way, in a bolder way, in a more, you could say, streamlined manner, through the idea of all of that chi being compressed into the sphere. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yes. And
And
that allows for the planet to become, in a sense, a source of its own. Now, because of its electromagnetic gravitational pull, surrounding chi around that planet will now gather, and that's where moons come from. So each planet is like a little source, following the original direction of the source that hath birthed it.
this is how it is in our universe, but is it like this in many other universes too, or is every other universe
Similar, but a little
different?
different. For example, can you imagine a Fibonacci universe where
Like,
it's not just one spiral, but two overlapping?
hmm,
Yes, these
hmm.
types of dynamics exist. These are higher dimensional universes. Yes, yes. Can you imagine a spiral, but the spiral is slower? These are lower dimensional universes.
But it's
Yes.
always the spiral in every universe.
There are certain universes where the spiral was not selected, but others were. You call these discordant universes dark universes. The
Mhm.
types of life that form in these universes do not, let's just say, pair completely with the nature of your spiral-based universes. So the forms of life that are connected to universes that do not follow the spiral pattern, these forms of life are not completely compatible with spiral-based universes. That's why they are separate universes. To your universe, the non-spiral based universe would translate as entropy. Does that make sense?
Mhm. So the opposite of evolution and entropy, and that's where you say they're kind of dark according to our judgments, but they're not necessarily evil, right?
They're not necessarily evil. No, it's just that the life force flows in a direction that's not compatible with the directionality of the life force in your universe. So to you, it might be toxic. That's why it's in a different universe. Yes, yes. And you have somewhere, again, the life force pattern is complementary to your universe. And that allows for you to begin to merge with these other universes. Yes.
You talked about how everything is a spiral. Just is essentially just the divine one consciousness, one energy continually spiraling upwards and approaching infinity, approaching its own apotheosis or something like that. that's why everything is a spiral?
Yes, because the spiral allows for a paradoxical portal to be accessed. For example, when you have this void filled with sand that is spiraling, eventually you get the idea of the clumping together, forming celestial bodies. It is that densification of the chi that puts a pressure upon the planetary core or the stellar core of whatever celestial body is being created. That pressurized core then forms a source portal, and it is that source portal that allows for the original source to then broadcast through the source mind of the celestial body. That then enables for intelligent life to be birthed upon the celestial body. That intelligent life is then capable of contemplating the source that hath created it, and that's what allows for a reuniting to take place. A dark universe is where there is no reuniting. It's almost like a one-way street. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
It is a universe of pure descent. There are universes of pure ascent. And of course, there are universes like yours where there's a mix of both, ascent and descent simultaneously. That's what makes your universe a human universe. An angelic universe would be pure ascent. A demonic universe would be pure descent. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it does. And what exactly is the purpose of the pure demonic universe?
It empowers the ability to break down, dissolve, and to destroy, which is needed in your universe. Because if you had no controlled fires, controlled burns, you would have too much ascent too quickly. Things would grow out of control, and your alignment would actually turn into entropy. And a pure universe of ascent is a power source that your universe draws upon so you can appropriately ascend. So when the light and dark universes that you draw upon are equal and balanced in your hearts, you can ascend when needed and descend when needed. But if you draw too much upon the darker universes, it's pure descent. If you draw too much upon the light universes, it's pure ascent. And you end up leaving behind certain things that could have served you. In a sense, it's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as we say.
Okay. And then the human DNA is in this spiral pattern because the DNA is kind of our essential nature as a being.
Well, it represents the physicalization of your signature frequency, but it's just a representation of that. It is not that. Remember, nothing can alter your signature frequency. Your superficial frequency might shift or change based on genetic augmentations, but your signature frequency is unchanging. It is your DNA that symbolizes the signature frequency. But what you are is not physical. It is the physical that is the dream. It's just reversed on your planet. Many of you think that the spiritual is the dream, but it is quite the opposite.